improvement process. I'm Matt Tanner.
I'm Hannah Taylor.
I'm Lee Taylor.
This presentation will address the 7 recommendations for successful school improvement planning as suggested through our textbook. Those 7 are establishing a process, clarifying, identifying essential student learning, studying results, reflecting, planning, and then actually implementing. If you see here, the first step, establishing the process, you will notice the author's recommendation is to create a model of continuous improvement. Continuous improvement depends heavily on internal commitment. That continuous improvement also should represent an informed decision by the majority of stakeholders, and that all team members should participate in some sort of training on how to function as a team. If you notice this column, our school, they actually do is our improvement plans are based on the Georgia Department of Education template. That SIP team meets every year at the end of every year to discuss a plan for the next year. The team is made up of administrators, department heads, teachers, and other committee team members. And currently, no training is offered in our system to help these decision makers learn how to function as a team. So our recommendations to help these come more in line with our book's recommendations are that the school should identify a more personal plan rather than using the in general template from the state. We should also be more transparent about meetings and allow others not on the team to be more involved. And then obviously we don't have any training, so we recommend that there should be some kind of training to help these people work as a team so that they can encourage others as well to learn how to work as a team when it comes time for implementation. Clarifying. The authors recommend that we create a sense of mission that has a clear understanding of the core values and beliefs that the system wants to portray. It should also be used as a high-profile document in all the discussions, publications, and anything else distributed by the school. And while they can be modified, they recommend that these things should be fixed and relatively permanent. What our school does is that during pre-planning meetings, our system-wide conference, our administrators go over our mission, our beliefs, to kind of get every teacher back on board. These items are also listed in the faculty handbooks on the websites and posted in various places throughout the school. Our mission was written in 2009, so it seems to be relatively permanent. However, there's been no revisions up to this point. To fall in line with recommendations, we think that these items should be mentioned throughout the year and in everything that is done and made up by the school, and not just done at the beginning of the school year. They should be constantly referenced, and every plan be made based on them. The school should ensure that all information sent out references these missions and other items to gain support for all the plans, activities, or change that might go through or happen throughout the rest of the school year. Again, we know our mission is fixed as it's been made almost 10 years ago, but we think that there's always a need to revisit to make sure that some of the things we're still working for aren't outdated, or to identify any new needs. Step 3, identifying essential student learning. The authors recommend that there's a need for tight alignment so that everything that's intended to be taught is, and that it's also tested the correct way. If the alignment's not perceived to be there by the teachers, then you kind of have everybody doing their own thing, which creates a lot of problems. Any innovation that's adopted by the school is presumed to have good curriculum alignment. So everything that we plan to do, we're kind of assuming that everybody's on the same page and all the alignments worked out. Also, they recommend the use of technology for ensuring that lesson plans and other things are kind of cohesive amongst all teachers. What our school does, as far as alignment goes, our department heads work collaboratively with the teachers to determine the pacing and the alignment of the intended curriculum. And we also use standardized tests, CCRPI reports, benchmark assessments, course grades, and other reports to implement these plans, decide what we need to do, and implement plans for student learning. Our system actually uses the Google Suite to help collaborate, develop, exchange, submit lesson plans, and actually use common assessments as well. We recommend, to fall more in line with the book, that schools should ensure alignment across the board. What we do is just 9 through 12. The district should take more charge of going K through 12 to make sure that the same verbiage and vocabulary across all disciplines would help facilitate that student learning as they go from one year to the next. Uniform data collection would allow data to be more reliable. So if teachers are using different measurement strategies, but the SIP team is only analyzing certain other data, then it's not really reliable or an actual depiction of the school. Each department should also spend time analyzing what is posted and deleted. So we have all these lesson plans and assessments and everything online. At some point, somebody should go through and look through and take out what doesn't need to be there and work to add things that do need to be there.
All right, going into step 4, we're looking at the study. In the study, we want to study the first step is to develop a plan and then proceed to engage in other steps. We're also wanting to examine the evidence in a way that will permit the leadership team to answer the questions regarding what's going on. Our stakeholders, we want their perception should change as schools to intervene to the policies and changes that need to be made to those practices and procedures. For our school, our SIP team meets quarterly to assess the plans and revise what is necessary. Committee focuses on the achievement, the climate, and the attendance of the schools. We target all groups. Those groups go with choice group, project search, resource classes, tutoring, extended year, dual enrollment, and work-based learning. The stakeholders are also serving on the SIP team are part of the collaboration and decision-making process of our school improvement plan. What we see fit as recommendations from what we read in the book and what our school does, the SIP team should ensure that these findings are public and to gain support for success and change. There seem to be more programs for higher and lower achieving students than there are for the student of average achievement levels, so that we should aim the programs to meet the needs of each group and not just settle for one group in general. Opportunities should be made for the stakeholders and parents that do not hold important roles in the systems to be part of the SIP team. Step 5, we're looking at the reflect. The problem that school leadership teams now face is how to access the research that is more useful and informative. School leadership teams take it upon themselves to empower others to explore the world of proven practices, develop a profile of how the best organize and how the practices differ from those seeking to improve. And then the last, what we read in the book for his recommendations, school leadership teams should be reassured that if selected a few goals based on information, that they are going to act in quality action plans and in school improvement. Our school, the data is collected and analyzed electronically and broken down to identify problem areas and improve plans based on data. SIP team attends annual conferences to learn the best practices. Committees within our are responsible for research and improving practices. During the monthly meetings, individual committees assess the progress of the smaller checkpoint goals to ensure adequate progress. From what our school does and from what the book recommends, our recommendations for the school is to compare their data to other successful schools that have comparable issues, that have the same makeup and of student population and other things going on inside the school. And the school should think about learning more than once a year, and committees should build partnerships with other schools to enhance learning. Committees should publicize checkpoint goals and the progress to gain support from teachers and stakeholders.
Step 6 is to plan. The author recommends that the school improvement often fails because the schools do not plan enough detail. That is, what is actually supposed to change in the classroom. A responsibility of the school's improvement team is to assist the ongoing communication for all school improvement processes in form of an idea of few people to a vision widely shared by the members. Our school currently has an SIP committee that clearly communicates data to the teachers in meetings and in different trainings. The SIP team does an adequate job of relaying the information to everybody that is involved to achieve one common goal. Other trainings that we have are meeting opportunities, updates, information that's shared to teachers on newsletters and emails. The recommendations that align with the author allow for more than just a committee to help with the data analysis and decision making. The stakeholders need to be made aware regardless of whether or not they know, but the information should be placed in their hands constantly to build and support the concern using newsletters, phone calls, emails, hosting events, and other ways to get involved. Step 7 is to do. The author recommends that creating a school improvement plan by following the suggestion guidelines may well turn out to have been easier in actual implementation. The author recommends that we celebrate. Our school is currently coming together with an SIP team for common purposes with a set of guidelines. That was not difficult to create a plan and getting on board together. Getting other educators on board and supporting each other is harder because they are not invested in the process as a team. The committee decides on all kinds of achievements and deserves celebrations in what ways the celebrations would occur. What we're doing in line with the author, you look at the schools that are similar and have similar demographics and the resources needs to make a successful strategies for a working staff to be all on one page. We need to set the degrees for the celebrations to ensure that all achievements are celebrated to ensure a continuous process of instead of celebrating an end result. Lastly, we need to provide training to create confidence in the older and less technology advanced teachers in order to work towards a common goal between everybody.
Finally, we come to our reflections. Our reflections basically boil down to the school system does an adequate job adhering to the recommendations set forth by our text. The school system establishes a process and has a monitoring, data collecting, analyzing, and planning plan in place. The school does not adequately train the SIP team members on how to function as a team, which will allow them to get the most out of their meetings. School also shows great collaboration as all communication, lesson plans, and some instruction and testing is completed using the Google Suite. And the school has done an adequate job identifying their priority needs, such as increasing student achievement, reducing the achievement gap, and improving the school climate. We did look and discover that the school chose 5 SMART goals set by the state to help address their needs. Those goals are to increase the number of students who both pass and score proficient on Georgia Milestones test by 3%, to ensure a safe and disciplined learning environment by showing 3% decrease in ISS and OSS placements, continuing to use smart technologies to organize and deliver course materials, instructions, and communication to 100% of the teachers, develop a professional learning plan to support school improvement, and to increase the amount of stakeholder involvement by 3% over the course of the years, or over the course of 2 years, through business, parent, and community-related events. Thank you for your time. This concludes our presentation.